If you are in the market for switching carriers, or if you're interested to see how another carrier will do in your area, where you live, where you work, where you play, the gym, what have you, Verizon they have an offer right now. You can try their Verizon service, their full service. This is not prepaid or anything like that. This is the full-fledged Verizon network for 30 days, absolutely free. Now, there are a couple of catches and or fine print, that you need to be aware of. You can currently, now, those of you that will not qualify, is you cannot be a current Verizon customer or TracFone customer. Verizon they recently purchased TracFone, I think about a year or two ago. So if you have Verizon or TracFone, this is not for you. This is for anybody else that has Sprint or T-Mobile, Mint Mobile, AT&T, Cricket. Actually, you know what? I think Visible is not allowed either because they do own Visible. That's right. So if you're Verizon, Visible, or TracFone, you will not qualify. This is completely free. There's no sign-up sheet. There's no offer. What I'm going to do in the description of this video, I'm going to write some information for you if you're interested. This is you have to have an eSIM or an eSIM available you have to have an eSIM available device. Now, as you know, all iPhone 14 models are all eSIM. But even if you're unsure if you have an eSIM, you probably do, because they started implementing eSIMs on the IMEI number 2 slot. All phones will have one IMEI for the physical SIM and then one IMEI for an eSIM. And phones, I think for the last probably 3 or 4 years, maybe iPhone 11 or so, I think they started implementing eSIM, where you can have an eSIM in your device and also a physical SIM. If you're an Android user, it's still the same way. Most devices, of course, you can use a physical SIM, but you can also use an eSIM on Android devices, I think going back a few years. So it should encompass most of y'all watching. I will link in the description where you can click and try Verizon, absolutely free. So what you're going to do is you'll click the link in the description. It'll take you to the Verizon website. You're going to download the My Verizon app, and they're going to give you a QR code to scan. That QR code is going to have your free eSIM in it. It's pretty self-explanatory. They'll give you instructions on how to do it. It's pretty easy. And I guess the one last catch, which is the biggest catch, is your device has to be unlocked. And this is where the majority of people are going to run into a roadblock. If you have a Google Pixel purchased from Google, you'll be fine. If you have an iPhone purchased straight from Apple, you'll be fine. If you have an S23 Ultra purchased from T-Mobile on a finance plan, meaning you pay for your S23 Ultra or whatever device over the span of 24 to 36 months, it's not going to work. Your device has to be unlocked. Now, it's a good idea that Verizon is doing this, because there are people that do have unlocked phones, like myself and a number of other people. But the majority of Americans purchase their flagship and or it doesn't even have to be flagship. Majority of Americans purchase their devices through a carrier, meaning you go to AT&T, you get the new iPhone 14, and you walk out with it. But you're also paying for it, $40 a month for the next 2 or 3 years. Because the majority of Americans don't have $1,000 to shell out to purchase a new device. So if your device is currently financed through a carrier, any carrier, T-Mobile, AT&T, Sprint, even Cricket, Metro, it's not going to work. It's going to tell you your device, your network is locked. Now, what you could do is get your device unlocked through a third-party website, and then try this out. That's a possibility. But if you do have a unlocked device, I would definitely give it a try. Maybe see if the Verizon network, like if you have a T-Mobile, and it's okay, but you know, it's not the greatest service. You might want to give this a try. You might as well. It's literally 100% free. There's no obligations. What they're going to do is when you scan the QR code and you download their app and you sign up for it, they're going to give you a temporary phone number, a random phone number, and they're going to give you unlimited talk and unlimited texts on that number, and they're going to give you 100 gigabytes of their 5G high-speed internet data service. You also get the 4G as well. But Verizon is interesting because if you don't live in a major metropolitan area, meaning a decent-sized big city, we are here in San Antonio, but if you live, let's say, on the outskirts of a city, or you live potentially in the country, I can tell you it's not going to be a good experience. I used to work in the oil fields in South Texas. I used to be a CDL truck driver years ago, and we had AT&T. AT&T was phenomenal in the country. I mean, I'm talking like there's literally nothing around for miles, not even another human for miles. And it amazed me that how good they had 5G. I mean, it was awesome. I had coworkers that have Verizon, and they complained literally every day about their service. Now, Verizon uses a different 5G technology. As of January of this past year, so about just a few months ago, Verizon ditched their CDMA service, their old CDMA service, 3G service. They chunked that away, and now they're going with, I believe it's millimeter wave technology, which is probably gibberish for a lot of people, but it's different. It's different 5G service, 4G service, specifically 5G, than what AT&T and T-Mobile have. T-Mobile's got ultra wideband. I believe AT&T has ultra wideband too. But the difference is, if you work, and this is why it's good to test it. I really encourage, if your device is unlocked, take advantage of it, because you'll be able to tell this is different technology. Now, if you work in an office building with a bunch of concrete around you, or if the office building you work in is surrounded by a bunch of other buildings, it'll be interesting to see what kind of service you get, because it's probably not going to be that good. Millimeter wave is outstanding. It's phenomenal as far as the speed you can get. However, with millimeter wave, which is what Verizon uses, you need to be in clear view of a cell tower. And what I mean by that is you can't have any big objects obstructing your view from the cell tower to your device, and you're going to get super, super strong 5G signals and 5G speeds. But it doesn't go through material that well, meaning it doesn't go through concrete if you're an office building, or steel if you're in a high-rise in downtown, or if you, like I was saying, if you have other buildings surrounding you, you're going to get real spotty service. Sorry about that. That's why T-Mobile with ultra wideband, it may be just a hair slower on the speeds, but ultra wideband does penetrate and or go through objects and materials a little better than millimeter wave, which is what Verizon uses. So and you can tell if you're watching this and you go downtown or you're in an area in a midtown or in a medical center. Ooh, that's a good one, a medical center, because they are surrounded. If you ever go into a hospital, you know how your signal drops off pretty good? With Verizon, it should really drop off. So that's why it's good to test it and good to make sure that this is the right switch for you. Now, Verizon does have some of the highest prices in the wireless industry. They are very expensive. We had Verizon, I think, I don't know, 4 lines on Verizon for a few years. And we had AT&T for a few years. And it seemed like with AT&T and Verizon, it seemed like our bill used to get more expensive and more expensive every month. It wasn't drastic, but it was a gradual increase. So a year after year, every year would go by and we'd kind of look at the bills and compare them. And sure enough, they would add on fees of, whatever, and the bill would go up. So just fair warning, if you do choose to go with it, please be aware of the bill and what kind of bill you're getting. It is expensive, although you can get decent speeds. But again, that's why it's good to take advantage of this opportunity to test it for you, your family, what have you. Now, with this eSIM that they give you for free, you can't switch from phone to phone. So whatever device you plan on using it on, make sure it's the one you want to stick to, because you don't want to be like if you're like me or you have an iPhone and an Android. It's like, well, I want to put on the iPhone, but then also want to see what it's like on the Android. They won't let you do that. It's good to test this out to see if you can use 2 phones, because it is kind of a hassle to use 2 phones, but it is handy and has advantages in other ways as well. But take advantage of this. I think I might, just to make some more content, because to be honest with you, where we live, we have T-Mobile. We've had T-Mobile for about 3 or 4 years. And right where we live, it sucks. And then when I go literally a half mile down the street where I'm at right now at a grocery store, man, it's blazing fast. We've been on the phone with T-Mobile. We called them over and over and over. They gave us a little, what do you call it? A little cell tower, one of those little mini cell towers that you plug into your Wi-Fi router and you keep in your home. That definitely helps. And they do offer, they won't give it to you right away. You got to call like a certain amount of times, and then they see, oh, he's called 7 times before in the last 6 months, and yeah, we'll offer that to him. So that's help. And it is a big help. But now they don't offer that to everybody, from what I understand. It's only in places, I don't know. They told me some gibberish, but you're gonna want to try this Verizon, because if they didn't give us that little mini cell tower for a home, I definitely might think about switching. I mean, it just depends on where you're at, and that's why. And look, T-Mobile has a free 30-day trial. I'll do another video on that and put the link in that video. And then Google Fi has another 30-day trial thing, and I can make a video about that as well, and put a link in there. And I'm trying to think of any others that offer a free trial. Mint Mobile, they have a free trial, but I think it's like a week. It's like 7 days, and they give you 450 megabytes on data, which most of us could go through in an hour. With this one, you're getting 100 gigabytes of high-speed data, so you'll really, really be able to tell and test their service and download movies and stream YouTube and do all sorts of stuff out and about. So yeah, I don't know if hotspot's included. Y'all might check that out. I doubt it, but you never know. I doubt it, but it'd be worth a try. But it'll also work on a tablet if you have an iPad, a cellular iPad, or a Windows laptop or Chromebook that uses cellular data. Just make sure you can accept an eSIM. what you're going to want to do is, if you're not familiar, if you do accept an eSIM, go to your settings app. Whether you have an iPhone or an Android, go to your settings app. And then for Android, and it should be right around the same section, but go to your settings app, go to network and internet, and then you can simply scroll down. And yes, see, I'm running an eSIM on this Pixel, but as soon as you go to settings and then network, it pops up right there. And with that little plus sign, you just hit that plus sign, and then you can add an eSIM, and you can scan a QR code, so you don't have to be typing in all sorts of long stuff. So I definitely take advantage of it. I'm actually going to download with this Pixel. Here's what I'll do. I'll make another video in a couple weeks. I'm going to go ahead and sign up with this one and test their service, see what it's like, and then let y'all know. I think this offer is good for till the end of the summer, I believe. So you have some time. It's not like you have to sign up like at the end of this month here in a few days, but you'll have a decent amount of time to sign up. But I'm gonna go ahead and download it on here, an extra eSIM. This is dual SIM. You can have you can have one physical SIM and one eSIM, or you can have two eSIMs. So I'm going to go ahead and download the Verizon and test it out, and we'll do some comparisons with T-Mobile and Verizon here in San Antonio. So I appreciate your time, and check out the description box, and I'll have some information in there if you're interested. And I'll see you next time.